Yes, definitely there has been an increase in the recalls. That's something that we've seen by looking at the recall trends. Um, but at the same time, I don't think we have as many units being recalled. So, in other words, like now we may have more number of recalls, but with fewer units being recalled. Okay, so that is one issue. At the same time, we also see some very large recalls, like either the X recall or the Fisher Price recall recently, or the metal recall of Magnet Toys and the lead paint. So these are all like large recalls where they go into millions of units. So we see some large recalls which are gaining our attention, but in terms of the recalls being more, I think there are more in number, but in terms of number of units, they are probably not as much. So why is it happening is a question that people keep asking about. Personally, I think it's more important for us to ask what we can do about those, as opposed to why they're happening. Recalls might happen because the products will prove to be somewhat dangerous or harmful. These dangers and harms were not foreseen before. So it is very difficult for the companies and the designers and the managers to foresee what all problems can occur with a particular product. It is very difficult for them to foresee how a product will be used or misused or abused. So as a result of that, now after we know that there's been some problems, the recalls happen. So that's why I think it's more important to understand what we can do about it, as opposed to worrying about being the fact that we have more recalls now. So what companies can do are, in fact, the one issue that has been of concern to me is that companies don't seem to be doing enough to learn from the recalls and issue the recalls fastly, and get all the products back from the hands of the consumers. So I think what companies need to do is that they need to have their own internal learning and knowledge systems, so that they study the recalls of the competitors. They study their own recalls to see okay, we've had this recall in the past, so we have to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And then conduct tests in a very actual use conditions before they start manufacturing the product. I think at the moment, the kind of tests that are conducted would be giving products to the users and potential users and asking them whether they like it or not. But it should go beyond that. So these are some of the things that companies can do.